Hey Carol, how's it going? Thank you so much for allowing me to do this review for you. I truly do appreciate it, and I'm excited to share with you some of the information that I've gathered here that I hope will be helpful when it comes to your online marketing and your online exposure. So the first thing we want to do is take a look at your website because we're going to be driving traffic to your website, and we want to make sure your website is very easy to navigate and quickly communicates to a potential customer what you're all about and why they should choose to do business with you instead of your competition. So while I'm here on your website, I just wanted to say that you have a very beautiful website, and the reason I like it so much is because it's unique. And like this type of font right here, I've never seen this font right here like this before, and being unique in this line of business is what's going to get you customers. And another unique thing I noticed is whenever you hover over any of these links right here, it kind of creates this paintbrush stroke a little bit, and that's something that just it's separating you from your competition because you took the extra time to include that, which most people wouldn't. The other thing I really liked is the fact that you included your social links, so your Facebook, your Twitter, and your Pinterest. A lot of people don't even take the time to create those, but the fact that you created them and you put them on your website is it's adding social value for you because that shows that you're a real person and you actually do want to build a relationship with your customers, and that's going to make them feel like they can trust you because they get to see your personal side now, which is a very good thing when trying to get a customer. The other thing I really liked is the color scheme for this site. It's simple, but it's unique. Like I said already, it's the color scheme is it fits in perfectly with what you're all about, and so you did a very good job choosing your colors to brand yourself. And the other thing I really liked about what you've done here is the fact that you've included a blog right here. Now, I don't know if you know this, but a blog is actually very good when trying to rank in Google. It's like giving your site steroids, for Google rankings. It can have a massive effect later down the road when you want to rank your site on Google, because it shows Google that you're constantly updating your site and adding new content, and that's what Google loves. So the fact that you included a blog, that's a huge thing. Now, one thing I might consider changing is, like I said about your social media links, you do have them, which is very good, but I would consider moving them from the bottom right here up to the top, because we want people going to those sites. We don't want these social media links hiding down in the bottom right here. We want to gain Facebook friends. We want to gain Facebook page likes. We want people to retweet what we tweet. So I would move them up here because, like I said, we really want people going to those pages. And I would also make them just slightly bigger. That's optional, but that's something I would consider just because we want them to stand out a bit. Now, the other thing I noticed is you do have a contact page, which is very good. Believe it or not, sometimes people forget to include a contact page, so there's no way the visitor to the site can get a hold of people, or a hold of the website owner. But you do have the contact page, which is a good thing. But what I would consider doing, and the only reason I say this is because I hate to say it, but people are lazy. They would rather have access to your contact information right when your site loads without having to click on anything. So right up in here, I would actually include your phone number and your email address. That way, right when your site loads, boom, there's your contact information. Now the potential customer can contact you without even having to click on a button or scrolling down or anything like that. So that's another thing I would consider. The other thing I would consider is, if you know how to do this, this image right here, I would choose 4 to 5 images and have it rotate between those 4 to 5 images, maybe of work you've done or anything like that. Definitely include this image because this is a really cool image, but I'll also choose 4 or 5 other images and just have them rotate every 3 to 4 seconds, so when visitors come to your site they could see examples of your work. Now, what I would also include is I would drag this down a little bit and create more white space right here, and I would consider grabbing maybe 3 or 4 testimonials from people you've done work for and have those testimonials rotating. Just kind of like I said with your images, have them rotating every few seconds. Have testimonials rotating, because even though in this line of work, samples of what you've done are kind of big testimonials, but at the same time, people want to know that other people have been happy with your work. And so if you show them these testimonials down here that are rotating, the person on your site's going to think, well, this person was happy doing business with Carol, so there's no reason I shouldn't be. And so it's kind of building your social proof a little bit. Now, I would also consider adding what's called an email opt-in form. And what that means is people will leave their name and email address in exchange of something of value from you. So whether that's a free quote or maybe some example photos of what you've done in the past, whatever you have of value that you could offer them really quickly in exchange for their name and email address. And the reason I would do this is because what the email capture form will do is it will actually store their name and email address in a program, and now all you have to do is type one email and click the send button, and that's going to send it out to every single person within your contact list that signed up for that quote, and it's going to personalize it with their name. So it's kind of a great marketing tool to try to build a relationship with potential customers. So even if they didn't buy anything from you right when they got on your site, you still have their contact information to market to them, and that can be a huge deal, and having an opt-in form is a great marketing tool to have. But other than all of that, I mean, like I said, your website is very unique, and that alone is going to be getting you customers. But like I said, I would just make those slight changes, but I wouldn't do anything major because your website is already laid out very well. But what I want to do now is I actually want to take you over to Google. Okay, Carol, now we're over here on Google, and as you can see, I've typed in the key phrase frames for wedding invitations. And these kind of words are very important because this is someone who is actively going onto Google in search of your services. So this is someone who can very likely become a customer for you. So as you can see, there's ads over here on the right hand side, and this is something called Google AdWords, or PPC, which stands for pay-per-click. Now the good thing about PPC is it can get you on the first page of Google very quickly, and sometimes even within an hour. The downside, however, is the fact that you have to pay a small fee every time your ad is clicked on. But as you can see, like I said over here on the right hand side, there's a lot of competitors bidding for this term to rank on the first page of Google for frames for wedding invitations. So that shows us that this is actually a profitable campaign for these people, because they wouldn't be paying to be on the first page for that term if it wasn't bringing them in money. So yeah, that's what this is. It's called PPC, which stands for pay-per-click, and so every time somebody clicks on one of these links, they have to pay a small fee in exchange for that visitor. Now the second way to get ranked on Google is through something called search engine optimization, or SEO for short. So as you can see, all these guys on the front page are benefiting from some sort of SEO and getting on the first page of Google instead of page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or beyond. And it's important to be on the first page because over 80% of people that perform a search on Google don't actually get past the first page. So for example, somebody searching frames for wedding invitations, they aren't going to get past this first page of Google. So they aren't going to get to page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or beyond. So Carol, this means you could have the best company, you could offer the best services, you could have the best pricing, and you might even be the most ethical company out there, but unfortunately no one's going to see your website, or if no one sees your website, they're not going to know about any of that, which is why it's extremely important to hold rankings on the first page of Google, because that's the most lucrative online real estate that you can have. Now the good thing about SEO is the fact that there's no charge whenever somebody clicks on your website. However, the downside is that unlike PPC, it does take a couple weeks and sometimes even a few months to get on the first page. But now what I want to do is I want to take you over to something called the Google Keyword Tool. And this is a tool that will show you how many times a certain phrase gets searched per month. Okay, so now we're on the Google Keyword Tool, and I've typed in the term frames for wedding invitations, and as you can see, this phrase gets searched 480 times per month. And what this tool will also do is it'll give us some examples of some other things we could try to rank your website for on the first page. So examples of wedding invitations, framing wedding invitations, homemade wedding invitations. That could search 4,400 times per month. So all these other ideas that we could rank your site for the first page on the first page for. So if we add all these up, we could literally have thousands upon thousands of potential visitors coming to your site every month, and obviously getting a couple thousand visitors to your site every month means more customers for you. Now, Carol, I went over to Google, and when I typed in the term frames for wedding invitations, I actually wasn't able to find your site anywhere on the first 10 pages of Google, which means the first 100 results. This means that the traffic and potential clients you could be getting isn't near what it currently is. So you're actually missing out on potentially thousands of customers finding your site every month. However, there is some good news. If you do want help with ranking on the first page of Google for various terms, I can definitely do that for you, and I would be more than happy to provide that assistance. And this is actually how I work. I offer 3, 6, and 12-month agreements, and you would be the only one in that industry that I work with, so I wouldn't work with any of your direct competitors. And I'm also running a special Christmas bonus right now. So if you sign up by Christmas, I'll give you 66% off your first month, and I'll even create a mobile-friendly version of your website for you for free, which usually costs around $497. And I don't know if you've got on your site from a mobile phone, but it can be kind of hard to navigate. It's not just your site, it's most sites out there, because very few sites these days are optimized for a mobile device, which is hurting business because tons of people are now using their tablets or their phones to use the internet instead of a computer or laptop. So yeah, I could definitely do that for you if you want. Now, if this is something you want to get started on and you want to grow your online presence, you can email me at Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, at localseomanagers.com, or you can send me a message on LinkedIn, and I would be more than happy to provide you with the next steps. Also, I'll be sending you over a "Can you endorse me" request on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to have your review if you're happy with the results of my work. So Carol, thank you again so much for this opportunity. I know I had a lot of fun creating this review for you, and I hope you learned a few things that you could do that will help your online exposure. So thanks again, and have a good day.